You're in the loop right here on Sports Radio 610. Let's appreciate more the new offensive coordinator for your Houston Texans, Nick Caley, because I thought a very fascinating piece was put out by Jonathan Alexander of the Houston Chronicle. Again, does great work, and again, salute to DJ Bieniemy. Both of them, a solid weekend, right? I did not feel deprived in any way of things that were happening with the Texans, and a really good piece where he went and he talked to various people in the history so that we get a little bit of a better is. Ultimately, they titled it "Why Nick Caley is the Right Fit for the Texans at Offensive Coordinator." I'm interested to kind of get your opinion, Lopez, on some of the I think major takeaways that you could have from this piece, and I think both of these that we mentioned, obviously the Bobby Slowick one prior, but then this one as well, are things that are worth looking at. And of course, I will turn again to a segment that I like to call reading. One of the first things that jumped out to me was in talking about. Funny enough, I know that he went and he talked to guys in the Patriots system. I think he talked a lot to Josh McDaniels about it. But one of the first ones that I grabbed was actually his time with the Rams, in which Mike LaFleur, who was the offensive coordinator for the Rams, and of course Matt LaFleur's brother, all that, called Caley a maniac, but in the best way possible. He said Caley was equally full go in his personal life as a husband and father of 4 girls, as a coach. Whenever the coaching staff needed, Caley was the guy you could call on to get it done, and he was going to get it done efficiently. Quote, he got that New England in him.
Is what?
He got that New England in him,
okay.
LaFleur said. Wait, well, hold on. He qualified it. They just work. They don't know any other way.
Yeah.
And close quote. And
I think horse on offense.
All right. Hold on. Wait a minute. But I did appreciate that.
I did that just for you, Figgy.
I did appreciate that because, like, he came in, he said, I move with a purpose. I have this energy. And some people just be saying that. Like,
no,
we got this on record. And I did appreciate, like, when the Mike LaFleur saying he's got that New England in him, specifically in the way of just works his tail off. Because look, I don't know that I can ask for anything more if it's just, hey, put your all. He does that. And I remember, like, stories of Bill Belichick and his staff, they have them just charting. And I feel like if you do that, the idea of, hey, we don't have answers, we don't try some stuff at least, right? If you have that level of work, we are going to find answers and solutions to what we have here, and that gave me a level of
as you know, I'm passionate about performance.
That's right. It gave me a level of kind of confidence in what you're doing here.
I just love it. Look, we don't know how that's going to play out, but
no, of course not.
But I do like that it triggers
capital Figgy. P, capital E, capital A, capital M.
It triggers Figgy in the best way. Okay, so you asked me, like, what were my biggest takeaways? I read this, and it became very, very clear to me. Like, it's all about how he builds relationships across the board.
Yes.
It is he going to be able to do, and we talked in the first segment about, or 1020, about, can he allow C.J. Stroud to have a little more, voice? Is he going to be able to get this offensive line, going the way it does, and be flexible and adjust the his approach and his style to what the personnel is? Hell, he said that. But I think it all begins with, sort of the way that it was mentioned in this story about, him being a maniac and full go. And he said even in his personal life, with family, kind of like that good OCD, the good OCD that's out there.
I'll let you say that because I don't know that I have the wherewithal and leeway to be able to say that.
But we all know that guy or that girl that is like, plan going, not missing any details, and I got to take care of this, and then I got to do that, and then I got to do that. And it starts with building a relationship. And then the second part to that, the most key part, will it resonate with this locker room, with this offense? We know about some of the offensive linemen, and maybe they're not as necessarily bought into everything, every aspect of what Bobby Slowick was preaching. Can it resonate with them with Nick Caley? Preaching it and adjusting it and talking to them and building those relationships. That's it. Build a relationship. That's his number one thing right now.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that he said he learned from Sean. But it seems like he's had some levels of that since early on. Apparently, one of the things that Bill Belichick has anybody do if they want to, he has a test for all his quality control coaches. So if you want to be a quality control coach, which was the way that he was trying to break in in the NFL with the Patriots. They said that his eagerness showed, right? Belichick has a situation where he makes his guys install a defensive coverage concept for the entirety of the staff so they can see kind of how he does that. And quote, this is per Josh McDaniels, as you can imagine, for a young guy that had never been in the NFL, that's not always the easiest setting in the world to handle, but he did very well. Clearly, you could tell how much he loved football. He was a very, very clear communicator. That's two varies, mind you. And he did a nice job in his presentation. Like that ability to kind of impart your ideas and get that through. I know that that's not the fullness that's not the entirety of creating resonation, having it resonate and creating relationships. But that's got to be a good feel that, hey man, at least their communication from top to bottom of getting these things across of whatever they're trying to do, which is going to be important, especially if you actually are going to be this game plan offense that you claim, where depending on game to game or situation to situation or portion of the season to portion of the season where you might be changing some things, having a clarity and this is what we're doing and let's make sure that we're all on the same page in how we're doing it. That's going to be super vitally important.
It is, and I think when I talk about building the relationships and communication and trust, it's not just the players on this offense, specifically C.J. Stroud. I think it's coaches. Let's keep this in mind. I think and I hope that Nick Caley is smart enough to realize what he's not great at right now, and that might be quarterback coaching. All he's ever done is tight ends. He's been involved in some offensive game plans, but has he worked with quarterbacks that much? I think the fact that he can maybe recognize that, and whether it's Gerard Johnson or Saplinski that he brought in, being able to recognize what he can't do and giving them the sort of the rope to build that relationship with the quarterbacks and then listen to them.
Yeah, and so look, I'm encouraged by this. It was a kind of a deep dive in some of the the backgrounds of Nick Caley, and of course it's going to be glowing in these instances where it's like, hey, he's coming in and he's new. What do you have for us? But I thought that it was glowing in the right ways, and again, falling in line with that presser, the introductory presser on Wednesday. It does feel like we're still in this place where, hey, I'm hearing a lot of good things. Maybe there's a few things that you go, all right, we'll see how this ultimately goes. Right? We still don't have an actual hardline idea of what the offense absolutely looks like. But I think there's a lot of things that you can have optimism for when it comes to Nick Caley and this offense as they move forward.